Hey guys, LevelCap here, and this week in gaming, big money was thrown around for game studios and new GPUs. AMD is making some bold claims about their upcoming GPU launch, 2 long-running games got major content updates, and more. Microsoft stunned the gaming community by acquiring Zenimax for $7.5 billion. The deal includes Zenimax's multiple game studios like Bethesda, Arcane, id Software, Machine Games, and more. It effectively means Microsoft now owns Skyrim, Dune, Wolfenstein, Dishonored, and about a dozen other of the biggest franchises in gaming history. Executives at both Microsoft and Zenimax issued statements lauding the deal as a big win for gamers and easing fears that all future Zenimax games would be Xbox exclusives. For now, it seems pretty much guaranteed that they'll all be on Xbox and PC by default. Other platforms will be determined on a case-by-case basis. And while all the details have not been finalized yet, Doom Eternal has already been announced for Xbox Game Pass. And Microsoft's subscription service is having a massive year. It saw a 50% boost in subscriptions over the past 6 months, hitting 15 million registered subscribers. It makes sense considering it offers hundreds of games on both Xbox and PC, xCloud game streaming, tie-in services like Spotify Premium, and more, all for about $10 a month. Plus, everybody's cooped up at home these days, so looking for cheap entertainment, this certainly hits the top of the list. Now, what's even crazier about this Zenimax deal is that it opens up doors to some wild crossovers and potentially new games from long-dead franchises. We could see a Doom and Halo mashup, or maybe even a Fallout New Vegas 2, considering Microsoft now owns all the studios responsible and the rights to those games. Big money is also being thrown around for Nvidia's biggest and baddest GPU ever. The RTX 3090 is advertised as an 8K gaming GPU and retails for $1,500. It went on sale this week and was instantly sold out due to insane demand and low stock. And that's been the case for pretty much every hardware launch on both PC and console gaming this month. Sony and Microsoft are barely managing to get restocks for their next-gen console pre-orders. Now, as for how the 3090 actually performs at 8K, it's technically possible, but an otherwise poor experience. Most games struggle to achieve 30 FPS averages at native resolution, though enabling AI upscaling via NVIDIA's DLSS 2.0 is showing massive performance gains. A bombshell report also claimed NVIDIA's partner vendors were cutting corners to save a few bucks on manufacturing at the expense of hardware stability. Igor's lab report claims some vendors are using cheaper capacitors that can't filter out interference that impacts performance at boost clock speeds. This means if the card's clock speed crosses a certain threshold, it'll fault, and the game or application using it will crash. The solution is to slightly power limit your GPU or wait for a BIOS update that limits the maximum clock speed to something below that threshold. It's a messy situation for some of those third-party resellers, and as of writing this, there has not been an official word from NVIDIA about the whole situation. AMD are promising a smoother ordering process than their competitors next month for their upcoming GPUs. They're revealing their next generation CPUs on October 8th and announcing their new GPU line on the 28th. Rumors are currently suggesting that AMD's big Navi GPU will offer performance between the RTX 3080 and 3070 while being cheaper than the 3080. Of course, every major hardware launch this year so far has been a bitter battle between consumers and scalpers. Sony, Microsoft, and Nvidia have all been unable to prevent bots from scooping up product the moment it's been available for order. Hopefully, AMD either has more stock on hand or more robust measures to prevent bot ordering. Squad has left early access with its 1.0 launch. The update adds Fallujah as an entirely urban, large-scale combat map, along with a new faction and a laundry list of features, bug fixes, tweaks, and more. The update is pretty solid overall, and it's safe to say Fallujah is the best map for the game to date. As for the future of Squad, it looks pretty bright. The developers are planning new content releases well into 2021, and the community for Squad is continuing to grow. What started off as an extremely bare-bones hardcore milsim has ballooned into one of the most accessible and content-rich tactical shooters available today. No Man's Sky also got a significant update called Origin that doubled its variety of planets, flora, and fauna while also improving its weather system, adding superstructures, volcanoes, and more. Since launch, No Man's Sky has gone from a shell of its promised content to a feature-complete game jam-packed with content. If exploring a procedurally generated universe while mining resources and taking epic screenshots is your thing, Origin delivers a pretty compelling injection of new stuff to explore. Crysis Remastered got its first big post-launch update, and it restores a bunch of missing features from the original game while patching several bugs. Issues with the remaster have ranged from poor performance to a general sense that Crytek went too far with some visual changes. The update is a pretty solid one and definitely improves the overall experience, especially for people using ray tracing. But it leaves a lot of remaining issues on the table. I'm doing a proper deep dive into the game for tomorrow's video, so be sure to tune into that. Halo 4 will be available for testing on PC before the end of October. It's the final Master Chief Collection title being ported to PC by 343 Industries and is probably going to launch before the end of the year. ODST just launched earlier this week, and it's another solid addition to the franchise on PC. With Halo 4 about to release, it begs the question, will we see Halo 5 on PC? In a lot of ways, the resurgence of Halo on PC started with Halo 5. The game's Forge mode was made available on Microsoft's PC Game Store a few years ago, and it ignited a fire in the PC community for more Halo content. And while the Master Chief Collection PC edition was probably coming to PC regardless of Forge's success on PC, it certainly didn't hurt the situation. Much of the feedback PC players gave regarding Halo 5 Forge informed the Master Chief Collection PC port's initial work. Issues like mouse input, unlocked frame rate, resolution support, and more were all key talking points for Forge feedback. Destiny 2's install size is shrinking with the launch of Beyond Light. That's excellent news for players that also have Modern Warfare installed, but it's terrible news for folks with slow internet. You'll have to re-download the entire game to install the update, even if you already have the game installed. The reason for the size cut is half of the game's content is getting vaulted, and Bungie have made some significant optimizations and improvements to the game's engine. These improvements will make getting patches done much quicker and open the game to more in-depth character customization. For example, the game's character face system was rebuilt for Beyond Light. In the future, players may be able to change their characters' unmasked faces from various presets. In our final story this week, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Season 6 is launching on Tuesday and will be a pretty major update to Warzone in addition to the base multiplayer. It adds 2 new operators, Farah and Nikolai from the campaign, and a subway system to Verdansk. On Monday, we'll be getting our first look at Black Ops Cold War Zombies. The mode is a fan favorite for the Black Ops franchise, and leaks suggest that it will be something of a reboot. Classic maps will supposedly be included as remastered updates with new content to explore. As for how any of this relates to Warzone, we've heard rumors that zombies will be added to the Battle Royale, but it's still unclear exactly what kind of integration we'll see between Warzone and Cold War. We know the new weapons and operators in Cold War will be transferred, but we don't know if their stats and attachments will be a one-to-one match. And that wraps it up for this week in gaming. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what stories you thought were the most interesting. It was certainly a very big week for PC gaming and hardware in massive industry deals. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Stick around for tomorrow's Crysis Remastered in-depth video. It's certainly worth watching, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.